to when it comes to research. So there's a whole piece. Are y'all seeing my screen still?
Yes, Carol.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, it keeps going. Recording stopped. Recording started. So, all right. So, I wanted to give just real quick shout out to Able Gamers. I was thrilled that y'all were on and excited to hear about what the other ATAC programs are doing. So, Laura and Lori, thank y'all so much for what y'all are doing. And so I'm just going to talk for a moment about the research piece of this, but also what we have available in our lab, and then, of course, the partnerships. Able Gamers, they have been amazing. We have a huge conference here in Atlanta called DragonCon. And so we actually had Able Gamers come and present with us, and they did an awesome job. And Ben Jacobs, who was on our team, he's gone on to start his own business.
Marty was having the same problem.
What's that?
Excuse me, Carolyn.
Oh, okay. So he has gone on to start his own business, and but this was a huge passion of his, and it's continued. And so just know that's kind of the background here. So we do have Able Gamers come to Atlanta. We've actually done workshops and with them and tandem with them, and that's been super cool. There's an image, 2 images up here. One is from a UN talk for Usability Inclusive Accessibility Day that they had in Switzerland in Geneva. And Bryce Johnson, who actually founded at Microsoft, he was one of the brains behind the accessible game controller that's that you just heard Andy talking about, and you saw a couple of images of. So he and I got to do that keynote together, that workshop together, and it was great because we were able to talk about this on that international platform. And there's so much interest. So once again, very glad we're talking about this today with all of you. So there's a huge community of us who love gaming. In accessible gaming, I love this. This is what Erin said, and she goes by, and I'm putting this in air quotes, but the Geeky Gimp. She has a great blog and vlog all about gaming and accessible gaming. There's a video here that talks about a new really cool accessible game, Hyperdot. There's an image of Erin actually gaming with her family and friends and community. And so she says, accessible gaming is community love. It's all about community and forms bonds in an accessible way. That's why accessible gaming is community love. And I totally agree. Check her out. Also, with our TechSage Rehabilitation Engineering Research Center, I'm one of the PIs on that project. We have several components of that are focused on gaming, also gamification. And so some of the projects that we're working on with a lot of you, with our access projects, there's a gamification piece to that, and that's by design. Some of the research that's out there, and there's an image here of 2 older men who are totally intently looking at the screen. This is what I felt like I was looking at with my son the other night with Forza coming out. And I was like, yes, get it, get it. And so that's how intense these folks look. But it talks about the importance of brain games, and they have been shown to have a positive benefit over time with older adults. One study had participants play for just 10 hours, and that led to an increase in cognitive function in participants older than 50. And that improved function lasted for several years, which is super cool. So paying attention to that. There is something to what's released in your brain. There's the community piece, and then there's also the social connectedness piece. There's an image on here of an older woman, older man, looking like they're having a great time, and I bet they really are. I bet that's not really staged. I see a lot of smiles when I'm gaming with my friends and family, and so. And it says here, common myth is that gamers are isolated. I can tell you the opposite is true. With the rise of those multiplayer experiences during COVID, I was connected with a lot of my friends across the country, across the world. My son and my daughter were too, because we were gaming together. Research has shown that 70% of all video game players play with at least with friends at least some of the time. And that's very, very true. So a great way to stay connected. There's also very strong ties, especially, and there's an image here of a woman who's laying back and she has on some VR virtual reality gaming, goggles, if you will. And she looks very relaxed. So gaming can be absolutely a relaxing pastime. I know my wife has an incredibly stressful job, and so she comes home, games, gets a lot of that out. And it really makes a big difference. A study conducted over 6 months really measured the heart rate of individuals as they played, and the results showed that the adrenaline response was reduced in individuals by over 50%. So a lot to pay attention to there. We have a commitment to gaming here at Georgia Tech, here at with Tools for Life and at the Center for Inclusive Design and Innovation. Much like a lot of you, we obviously do gaming demos, and then we also have a lending library. And some of the items that we have, and I just wanted to pull a few that y'all hadn't seen. So this is the Axis 4 Pro. All of these are available now. They're on the market still. There are some shortages, chip shortages, and supply chain shortages that are affecting being able to get some of these. But this was developed with help from our awesome partners, Able Gamers. It's got that ergonomic design, big, large targets, which we all want to see when we're working with some folks that have issues with fine motor skills. And also the joystick is large. Price range, basically $499 to $550. And so, you know, well within reason to have in your loan library or your demonstration lab. The Griz Paw is another really cool one-handed controller. I have seen people fly on this. And one of the questions that somebody asked, I was listening to some of those just a few minutes ago, y'all had asked about the unfair advantage and that some people with disabilities have not been able to be in competition. There's a lot of advocacy around that, and we are seeing that there are a lot of competitions that are changing to allow folks with disabilities with various controllers. And then it's just a matter of figuring that out. So, but that's another one of those advocacy issues that we've got to continue. The money that folks can make, there are careers now, professional gamers, and Twitch channels that you can really make a lot of money on. And so it's very important that we continue to think about inclusion and accessibility across the board. And that obviously goes into making sure that everybody can play. So there's this rumble feedback, and what that means is it'll rock a little bit, which is super cool. And so basically $200 right now, they're 50% off. So check that out. Right now, as of yesterday, 50% off. The 3D rudder, this is a foot controller. It's got that joystick emulation, and you can control all kinds of movement. There are some folks that are using this plus other switches. And so being able to adapt and set up the environment so it works for the individual when it comes to gaming. Once again, reasonable, $100 to $119. And then, of course, the quad stick, this one specifically is one that we have found to be successful and very helpful when it's coming to that game controller mentality, but also the functionality. It's about $560, but it's out of stock right now. But they still are taking orders. Another thing, and I actually, my son and I were talking about this just yesterday driving home, about this CronusMax Plus, which allows for crossover gaming. This, once again, worth the investment, and having one of these in your lab so you can show how this works, why it works. It helps with controller modifications, definitely with those macros and the scripts. And so check that one out too. And then of course, the oldie but goodie, but so glad we have it. I'm actually got it right here in the room with me in my home office. And so this is the Xbox adaptive controller that Bryce Johnson deserves a lot of credit for, along with our Able Gamer partners and a lot of other folks who jumped in on that. So my big ending thought here is play on. And if you want somebody to game with, I'm happy to jump online with you. I appreciate your time, and let me know how I can help. And I hope all of you are well. I'm going to turn it right back to you, Marty.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Carolyn, and I apologize for the technology issues.
No worries.
I'm just looking to see if there are any other specific questions in the chat. I know one of them was, do you know if any of these items like 3D Rudder would work with the painting or art app or game?
Yes, we have been able to do that. You do have to sometimes do some adaptation. Andy, do y'all want to jump in on that? Or Jesse?
Sorry. Oh, can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was, do you know if any of these items like 3D Rudder would work with a painting or art app or game?
What's it called? Sorry.
A painting app or a painting game?
Okay. What platform does it use? Something on PC, or you said app though, so I'm assuming this is some mobile device or like an iPad.
It does. We have used it that way before. And so, yeah, I just wasn't sure if Jesse, you wanted to add anything else to that, but yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
no worries.
Okay, yeah, I mean, the 3D Row is pretty versatile, and if not, there's definitely adapters out there like the Cronus Zen, for example, that really will allow you to play anything with anything. So I would assume then. So yes.
And let me see if there are any others. I'm not seeing any right now. One of the things that I wanted to emphasize again is when we send out the survey for the webinar, there is space for what people might be interested in as far as getting some more information. So please use that. Add email addresses if you want to be contacted. We have everybody's email address as far as the webinar, but as far as interest, please use that, and we can use that to help connect people. So that would be fantastic. Let me just look. And there's some great comments in the chat too. I know folks have been interacting and talking with each other, so that's fantastic. But I think that's about it. Again, watch for the survey. We'll go ahead and send that out to everybody. We had it in the initial slides, but we'll send that to everybody. And I want to again thank all of our panelists. Really appreciate you being involved and have some great information and some great resources. So thank you very much to everybody, and just have a fantastic day. We'll talk to y'all later.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.